Einstein was one of the greatest scientists in the world. Almost every child knows his name. And why not? After all, his physics has taught him a lot of lessons. Now, he was a great scientist, but in school he was not an average kid, but an average kid. Yes, but his brain was not an ordinary brain. Albert's brain was a little different from his childhood. And according to the Times, he was a little faster and special. So special that after his death, his brain was stolen. By the way, was it really stolen? Because think for yourself, when the great scientists of the world died, was it so normal that a man comes and takes away Einstein's brain? Doesn't it sound weird to hear? So let's know the truth. What was special about Einstein's brain? We'll know this. But before that, let's know a little about Einstein. Albert Einstein was born in a Jewish family in Württemberg, Germany. His father was a professional engineer and a salesman. His mother, Pauline Einstein, was a housekeeper. It was difficult for Einstein to speak in the beginning, and he was not very good at studying. By the way, his mother tongue was German. But later he also learned Italian and English. Maybe he also realized that the way his mother tongue in his country is given more value to English than the same should happen in Germany. Anyway, after his birth, doctors noticed that his head was quite large in the shape of any ordinary child. And he was born as an ordinary child. At that time, medical science was not so developed that it could know the reason for this big head. As he grew up, the situation with Einstein was such that he was considered an unusual and perhaps abnormal child. Despite being unusual, his mind was so sharp that no one could compete with him even today. His mind was sharp, but there was a problem. That was speaking. Any ordinary child learns to speak in 1 or 2 years. And as we told you, Albert Einstein had difficulty speaking from the beginning. In this case, he did not even speak until a very old age. His parents were very upset that he did not speak. At the age of 4, he learned to speak for the first time. But even then, he did not speak very clearly. He used to speak halfway and often kept quiet. At the age of 9, he started speaking, which was a very interesting story. It's about time to eat. He was sitting with his mother and father for dinner at the dining table. Suddenly he said, "Soup is very hot." His parents were happy to hear this later. But first they were shocked at his clear voice. They asked him why he had not spoken yet. Einstein replied, "Everything was fine so far. Now you tell me, what do you think?" His parents would have been more happy or shocked. Einstein himself was a joker, and many of his habits were also funny. He did not wear socks because there were holes in his socks. Another reason for this was that he believed that if one is working, then what is the need to wear two? At many formal dinner parties, he would go without socks. Once he went to Oxford for a lecture like this, but the attention of the students was more on his big hair than his socks. Actually, Einstein did not like to have his hair cut. Anyone can guess this by looking at his long hair. Despite being such a great mathematician, Albert was considered a very bad memory person. Name, date, phone number he did not remember. What happened? Were you shocked? Today, you may be smiling a little after hearing this. But from his time to today, whoever heard this was surprised. By the way, you will also be surprised to know that he was not always so intelligent. Because of being weak in studies since childhood, Albert Einstein was also called a dimwit. In childhood, he was counted among foolish children. Because of some of his actions, some people even started calling him a physical disabled person. Now it is possible that many of you must have heard this story as well. But friends, this is a fact. But now don't think that every weak child in his childhood will turn out to be Einstein. It is possible that he found someone to become Rohit as well. Anyway, even his teachers did not like him, because he only passed in the subject of maths and science and failed in every other subject. Since childhood, he was not interested in literary knowledge. Still, he presented many such theses of science, without which science is still weak, whether it is E equals to mc squared or theory of relativity. And this is the reason why his mind is still the subject of discussion. Yes, so let's discuss his mind. On April 18, 1955, genius scientist Albert Einstein died. At that time, a pathologist named Dr. Thomas Stoltz Harvey stole Einstein's mind during a night exam, and no one even found out about it. Actually, this doctor wanted to test Einstein's mind. After all, what was in Albert Einstein's mind? because of which Einstein did so much physical research. Also, he had published more than 300 scientific research papers in his life. Like you and me, Dr. Thomas was also surprised, and he wanted to know the secret of Einstein's intelligence. That's why Thomas stole his mind from the corpse. He was fired for this act, but he promised that he would definitely find out about Einstein's mind, so that science and scientists can benefit from it in the future. But due to not getting permission, Dr. Thomas Harvey kept Einstein's mind in a jar. Later, in 1975, when his son Hans got permission, he started researching on Einstein's mind. First of all, he measured the weight of his brain. Its weight was 1,230 grams, which was quite small for an ordinary person. It is known that the weight of a human brain is about 1,400 grams. After that, Dr. Harvey sent 240 samples of his brain to many scientists. After seeing them, he found that more cells have been counted in his brain than a normal person. A little earlier, in a research, it was found that Einstein's brain had a part called cerebral cortex. It was different from a normal person. Let's say that cerebral cortex means the area of the brain. It is an important part of the human brain, which is also considered the most complex. And that's why his mind used to think in an extraordinary way. Einstein always said that I don't have anything special in me, but I am a person who has a great desire to know. By the way, how useful this research of his mind will be to the scientists, they will tell. But you comment and tell us how good was the idea of stealing the mind for research.